China is the first country that has labeled internet addiction a clinical disorder. And as a result, we are seeing these treatment centers, these boot camp style treatment centers popping up throughout the country where they are trying to help teenagers kick this addiction to the internet. Now, internet addiction, in my opinion, is definitely a serious issue for some people. So just to give you guys a few examples, some people have actually died of exhaustion after playing online video games solidly for days. And in Korea, I remember reporting this story about a couple that was going to an internet cafe and playing this game where they take care of their virtual family. And in the process of doing so, they were neglecting to feed their 3-month-old baby, and the 3-month-old baby died.
No!
So, yes. So that was a really, really sad story from a few years ago. So internet addiction does exist, and I think that some people might actually need treatment for it. So the intentions are good. However, in China, the execution here is not appropriate. So what they've done is they have these almost like camps, and it involves military physical training, medication, therapy sessions, and controlled diet in order to reconnect them with society. The ironic thing is, with the intention of reconnecting them to society, what they're really doing is they are kind of taking them away from society, putting them in these like jail-like cells and breaking them down. And it reminds me a lot of, you know, these residential treatment facilities we have here in the United States, where teenagers who are addicted to drugs get sent there and then they're mentally and physically abused and they come out all screwed up. So it seems like that's what's happening in China. And by the way, there's a documentary about this that was premiered at Sundance. It's known as Web Junkies, and they went inside these boot camp style facilities, and it sounds scary.
Why don't they just bring those people who are addicted to the internet, bring them on Maury, have a drill instructor scream at them? Isn't that what fixes kids today? You talk about that. You ever see those shows where they bring out, that's how you fix a kid? You're going to scream at them? That always, because that's what was a problem. Usually kids who are fucked up on drugs just weren't screamed at enough. That's what'll fix them. Yeah, it's that same theory of the people in prison weren't hit enough as kids, right? You ever hear that? I'm glad my parents hit us, they kept me out of prison. Oh yeah, that's what prisons are full of, people who just weren't beat up enough.
I would be interested to find out what happens in these camps and to what extent this is sort of a voluntary thing that families send their kids.
The teens are not voluntarily going to these camps. They're sent there by their parents. And it just really does remind me of residential treatment facilities here in the U.S. So
and they're bad? Are the residential treatment?
Oh, I did a vlog on it. You guys should check it out at youtube.com/Anna Kasparian. Not a big deal.
Okay.
But there was an investigation into many of these treatment facilities that these teens were being sent to, and there have been cases at some of these facilities where their teenagers, were so malnourished that they died as a result.
No kidding.
Yes. Some of them get beaten. Some of them are forced to go up in front of a group of people and say hideous, heinous things about themselves. Like the girls would say things like, I am a dirty slut, or whatever it is. And it's a way of emotionally breaking them down and then building them back up again. But it doesn't work. They come out of there with severe mental issues.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, this does not seem like the way to fix it. But as you said, internet addiction is a real thing.
It is.
And I think there are a number of different revolutions throughout human history that you can think of: the agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, where there's been massive changes in society. These things happen. But in the past, they happen over many generations, and they're very rare. Every generation thinks that their generation is the one where stuff is changing in a really fundamental way. They were all wrong in the past. This is actually it right now. And more change is happening in the way that we orient ourselves and structure society, how we communicate with each other. And we don't know how to deal with it. The Chinese government doesn't know how to deal with it, and Americans definitely don't know how to deal with it. I don't know what the solution is, but we're doing real damage to ourselves in so many different areas.
I think part of the problem is we don't fund rehabilitation enough in the country. So, and I don't know if it's true of China, but this story makes me reflect on the way that we treat people with addiction here in the United States. And oftentimes we treat people with addiction as though they're criminals instead of people who need help, right? So we've been like that with people who have drug addictions, and we've treated people who, are in homosexual relationships, for instance, as if they're deviants and they need to be punished and rehabilitated. And you send them to.
They are more pervert. Don't you watch The Bachelor? You don't know this?
Reference to a story we did yesterday. Bachelor says that gay people are perverted.
More pervert.
Yeah, in a thick accent. Anyway, but we need to change our mindset. We need to stop treating people as if they're criminals when in reality they need help. And it's true of those who have an internet addiction.